Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the second of 3 short interviews that I did while at LA Comic-Con. This one with artist David Nakayama. But before I get to that interview, I first want to tell you a little story about a conversation I had with some content creators off camera. At the Comic-Con, 2 people who you've probably never heard of were there, by name of Eric Lewald and Julia Luwalt. Now, who are these people, you ask? Julia was a writer on the original X-Men animated series, and Eric was the showrunner. They were there promoting their books, X-Men, the art and making of the animated series, and previously on X-Men, the making of an animated series. Well, as a giant X-Men fan, I had to go up and talk to them. So I talked to Julia primarily. And let me tell you something, she was very enthusiastic. She was very happy to be there, and so was I. I told her how impressive of a series the X-Men animated series was. What a great job it did, staying true to the source material originally written by Chris Claremont. I also mentioned that there are basically 2 comic book related animated series that people really talk about with true reverence. One is the Batman animated series, and the other one is the X-Men animated series, both from the 90s. The X-Men animated series not only brought a lot of people into the fold of being fans of the X-Men, it brought a lot of people into the fold of being fans of comic books, and their significance cannot be overstated. Well, she was really appreciative of that, and I told her I am an X-Men fan from before the animated series, and I watched the animated series as a fan of the comic book, which meant a lot to her that I was already a fan of the source material and then became a fan of the animated series. Well, another reason that she was very excited is that, of course, the X-Men animated series is returning. That was announced very recently, that the MCU and Disney Plus are going to be bringing back the X-Men animated series as X-Men 97. So she's very excited about that, and she is going to be involved in it. Julia and Eric are both consultants on the new animated series. I think that's really great. They could have made the new animated series without them, but instead they decided to embrace what made, at least part of what made the original animated series so great and bring in those people as consultants. So I'm excited about, they were excited about that. So this is really good news for the future of this animated series. In addition, I asked one question specific to the new animated series. I asked, is the new animated series going to be retelling the stories that were already told in the original animated series, or will they be picking up from where the original animated series left off? Well, she admitted that she couldn't tell me much, but that it is called X-Men 97, which basically implies that they will be picking up from where the animated series left off as far as the story is concerned. So I'm really looking forward to going back onto Disney Plus, watching all the old episodes of the animated series in preparation for the new one that I believe is coming out in 2023. All right, so that's the conversation that I had off camera. Now let me tell you about the interview that I did on camera with David Nakayama. Now, it's a very short interview. I promised him that I was not going to take up much of his time. There were lots of people that wanted to talk to him because his work is really good and really popular, and popular for a reason. He's also a really nice guy. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and show you my interview with David Nakayama. Okay, I am here with artist David Nakayama. Hi, David. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing really well. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much for making time to talk to me here.
No problem.
Now, you are crushing it, my friend.
Thank you.
Your covers are all over the place. People are really excited about your covers. And I got to tell you, I know exactly why. It's because they're really great.
Thank you.
Of course. And one thing, one kind of style of yours that it seems a lot of people are really interested in is your negative space covers.
Yes.
Stuff like this lady right here that we can kick the glare off of. And let's see. This lady here. Now, I wanted to ask, when you're doing a cover like that,
yes.
where it's basically just the character
right.
and the background,
Yep.
is this like, is it freeing for you to be able to focus just on the character? Because there's no place for that character to hide. They
No.
are front and center. Do you
That's
find
it.
that liberating or kind of like nerve-wracking?
Well, it's both, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, let me put it this way. Like, I used to work in video games, and I was the hiring manager for artists, right?
Okay.
And the test that I had for these aspiring artists was, can you draw female characters, right?
Okay.
Because in the same way, there's nowhere to hide. You know, you have very few lines to get across the beauty of a female character versus a grizzled male or a monster or something. So that test showed me that in a few lines they could capture exactly what I wanted, right?
Okay.
It was a dead giveaway how good they were as an artist. So you're right. In that sense, it's challenging, right? I have very few lines, not just in the fact that it's a female character, but the whole thing.
So you're doing it to show off how good you are?
No, nothing like that. I'm doing it from a design point of view.
Okay.
I'm thinking like, hey, if I strip this thing down to nothing, like the minimum, you know, like just the skin is rendered, just the hair and maybe some of the details are rendered. You know, this is going to make a great t-shirt design or really any design, right? Like it's going to pop because your eye just focuses right at the character's face in a way that it wouldn't if there was any other stuff there.
See, I love that, and people are really, really responding to it, which is like, I think it, like I said, I think it really speaks to
Thanks.
the quality of your work, that there's no place for it to hide, and people
No.
are like, give me more, give me more, give me more. And the poses are so dynamic. It's just really great stuff. Is there a character that is like your favorite to draw?
People ask me that sometimes, and I think the answer is not. There isn't one. You know.
There isn't one, sure.
I think you could say like the female X-Men. You know. Like,
yeah.
That category is evergreen for me. I will never get sick of drawing Emma and Rogue and Jean and Psylocke. You know, those were always going to be top choices for me.
Okay.
But could I narrow it to one? Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite comic book character, like a personal one, outside of your art?
I really follow comics based purely on the creator.
Okay.
So it's not so much based on the character. But if I had to pick a character,
yeah,
my favorite superhero is probably Captain America.
Okay.
And the reason it is because he is the most pure superhero. You know, like he's really a good soul who's out for justice. You know, he's defending the little guy, and he's not like all powerful. So he's at risk.
Yeah.
In a way that other characters are not. I just find there's no equivalent.
The stakes are a little bit higher for him
It's a little
in a way.
higher. Yeah, he's a super soldier. I get it, but he's still human scale. He's not a god. You know, so something about that makes it very compelling to me.
Awesome. And my last question I'll ask you is, what's coming up from you that people should be looking forward to?
Excellent. Yeah, well, there's one in particular that I must tell you about. It's called Gwenverse.
Gwenverse.
Gwenverse is a new series written by Tim Seeley and featuring main covers by me.
Okay.
Very excited about that. It comes out. The first one comes out in January, and the premise is that it's you know the focal point is Ghost Spider, aka Spider Gwen. But she encounters a multiverse of other Gwens from different timelines that took different paths. So there's Gwen Stacy became Iron Man, Gwen Stacy became Wolverine, Gwen Stacy became Captain America, and all of these guys are a team. And we're going to see what they're up to as a team in January.
That sounds like a ton of fun.
I mean, they call me up and they're like, hey, would you like to draw a ton of Gwen Stacy? Yes. Yes, I would. Sign me up for that. And I hope readers feel much the same way that I do.
Awesome. David, thank you so much for your time. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise, thank you for coming by.
So there you have it, my interview with David Nakayama. It was very, very short, but I hope very, very sweet. I promised him I was going to not take up much of his time, and I'm glad to say that I was able to keep my promise. But I hope that there were some valuable little tidbits of information in there for you. One little side story I want to tell you is that I kept kind of standing back, letting people who were getting signatures or people who wanted to talk to David have their opportunity to do that before I did this interview with him. And at one point he said, you know what, let's not do that anymore. Let's go ahead and commit to doing the interview. And I said, okay, thank you very much. But there was one more person that he was going to talk to before doing our interview. Well, that one more person that he talked to was a former editor. I didn't catch his name, but he was a former editor over at DC who was responsible for hiring David Nakayama to do some work over there. Well, these two people had never met in person before. And when David realized who this editor from DC was, he lit up. He was so happy to meet this guy because he was so appreciative of the opportunity that this gentleman had provided for him to work at DC. Now, the way I see it, David Nakayama's work speaks for itself. He is really, really good, and more people are becoming more and more interested in his work. So if you're hiring David Nakayama, you think, well, I'm the one who should be stoked. But it was David Nakayama who was stoked to be working, to be given the opportunity to work at DC. And he was so humble and so appreciative. And like I said, literally, the way to describe it is he lit up when he met this guy because he was so happy to have had the opportunity to work at DC and that this person provided that opportunity for him. So I tell that story by way of saying that he is still very humble, very approachable. You know, he was signing as many books as people wanted to get signed. He wasn't charging people anything for just to have a book signed. He's a really, really nice guy. And I have a feeling that we are going to be hearing a lot more from David Nakayama for a long time to come. So if you have the opportunity to talk to him at a convention, I would do that because you're going to be happy that you did. All right, so that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, likes are great. I like likes. They help me a lot. In addition, if you want to check out some of my other content, subscribing might be an option for you. Make sure you hit that notification bell because videos like this come out at random, so you don't want to miss them. As always, I thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.